स्पोर्ट्स मैनेजमेंट और जनरल मैनेजमेंट, बहुत सारे लोग पूछते हैं क्या पढ़ें। इस वीडियो में आज हम ये कवर करेंगे दैट व्हाट मेक्स मोर सेंस फॉर पीपल हु वांट टू परस्यू a career in sports business. Hi everyone. As the sports industry in India becomes more and more relevant and much bigger, we are seeing that lots of people want to work in the business or the management side of sport. For that, lots of people ask me whether they should study sports management or whether they should look at general management, a general MBA, and then look at making a switch into sport. Well, both have their pros and cons. So today in this video, we're going to talk about 4 critical factors and evaluate both the options in each of those factors and see what makes more sense. There you go. So the first factor we're going to evaluate is content and curriculum. Now, of course, in a general MBA, the content is much broader. So you will learn different functions like finance, marketing, HR, supply chain, all of that stuff, and across different industries, the pharma industry, the financial services, and so on and so forth. So the breadth of experience is far more. And of course, in the second year, you would specialize. But lots of MBA institutes don't have a sports specialization. So to get any kind of sports content will almost be zero or negligible. When it comes to sports management, here the specifics around sports and the sports business is what you'll spend most of your time in. So even though you won't get the breadth of experience, but you can learn the different functions that are in a sports industry, that are in the sports business, and then you can kind of see what makes more sense for you. So in general, both have their pros and cons, but in this case, I would say if you're very sure about being in the sports industry, it probably makes more sense to go into the sports business course. The second factor we evaluate is the network. Now, network and building a network is actually one of the biggest reasons why people pursue education, especially master's education. In fact, if you look at global MBAs, people talk about how they built a brilliant network by going to a crazy big school. Now, when it comes to a general MBA, the network obviously is wider and bigger and broader because you can have network within different sectors, different industries, and so on. But when it comes to the sports management programs, the network is limited to the sports industry. Now, of course, like I said, if you're sure about sports management, then having this network makes a lot of difference. But if you ever want to evaluate different opportunities, if sport doesn't work for you, or look at outside of sport, so for example, agencies working into sport and so on, the MBA might be better. So it's kind of a 50-50 here, but it depends on what exactly you're looking for. So the third factor is recruitment. I would say recruitment is by far one of the most important reasons why people pursue master's degree, especially like an MBA or a master's in sports management. Everyone wants to go into education and then get the job of their liking. And that's really the bottom line here. Now, when it comes to MBA, if you're looking for sports jobs after a general MBA, it definitely becomes a challenge. Most of the sports management companies don't go to general MBA colleges for campus recruitment. So this one is a no-brainer. If you want to be in the sports industry, if you want to build your network there, and if you want to find jobs there, a sports management program gives you that access. So typically what happens is a lot of these sports management institutes would call either recruiting companies or guest lecturers or organizations that give projects to students. And over the course of the program, people would build networks and recruitment opportunities across the sports sector. So if you look at India in particular, a lot of the IPL teams, ISL teams, broadcasters would actually do live projects in some of the top institutes in India. And once that relationship is built and that network is built, getting a job there becomes much easier. So in this category, I would say sports management programs actually take the cake here, and they help you get a far more concrete direct recruitment into the industry. And the fourth and probably the most important point is exit opportunities. What this means is, do you really want to be in this industry forever? Now, if you study sports management and eventually after a few years you think, मजा नहीं आ रहा यार, कुछ और करते हैं, yeah, this is not what I expected out of the industry, yeah, the opportunities are limited, yeah, you can't grow further and so on. So what happens in that case is once you have that degree, to go into something else purely becomes a factor of your experience. So let's say if you're in the sports industry and you're working on the marketing side, you might get a marketing role in a non-sports sector, non-sports industry. But the opportunities then become very limited and related to your jobs. Of course, if you do an MBA, the sky is the limit. You can do your MBA, get into the sports industry, and then maza nahi aaya to you can always switch. Of course, it gives you far many more opportunities. Like for example, in my case, I did my MBA. I did not study sports management. I was fortunate that after dabbling with some of the other industries, I got into sports management. And then over the years, I've built a career in the sports side of business. Of course, it gives me opportunities. Now, if I ever want to leave the industry, I still have a network, I still have opportunities in various other industries. And of course, I can leverage my skills and use those skills in other industries as well. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say is that if you really want to be in the sports industry, the first thing before you decide to invest in education is to make a decision if this is what you want. If this is really what you want, go specific and deep into the sports side. If you're not sure that this is what you want, then definitely go more broad and build your options. अगर आपको मालूम है श्योरली कि स्पोर्ट्स में ही जॉब चाहिए और ये ही करना है, then of course sports management. If you're unsure, general management. Now the big question is, how would you know कि स्पोर्ट्स में ही काम करना है? The best options are do internships. Once you've finished your undergraduate studies and before getting into masters, do as many internships and hours to understand the industry. This is my biggest advice to people who are looking of getting into the industry. Lots of people who are young, they think कि स्पोर्ट्स में काम करते हैं, विराट कोहली के साथ चिल करने को मिलेगा, रोहित शर्मा के साथ चिल करने को मिलेगा. ऐसा नहीं होता. Maybe there are 1 or 2 jobs out of hundreds of thousands that allow you to do that. और उसमें भी chill नहीं होता. You're probably working very hard, helping these brands and these athletes become better. Now, do as many internships as you can. Build the hours, get experience under your belt. That is the only way you will know whether this is the right option for you or not. The thing with other industries is you can make more mistakes because आपने general education करी हुई है, आपको एक इंडस्ट्री में मजा नहीं आया, एक फंक्शन में मजा नहीं आया, आप स्विच कर लोगे. आपने स्पोर्ट्स में पढ़ाई करी हुई है, आपको मजा नहीं आया, आपके ऑप्शंस बहुत लिमिटेड हो जाएंगे. So do internships, understand what sports actually is. Don't get into the whole मजा एंड फन ऑफ कि आईपीएल में ग्लिट्स एंड ग्लैमर है, प्लेयर्स हैं, क्रिकेट है या फुटबॉल है, उसमें मत जाओ. एक्चुअली देखो जॉब्स हैं क्या, ग्रास रूट्स क्या होता है, मार्केटिंग क्या होती है, स्पोर्ट्स फाइनेंस क्या है, स्पोर्ट्स लॉ क्या है, टैलेंट मैनेजमेंट क्या है, इवेंट मैनेजमेंट क्या है. अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दीज डिफरेंट एरियाज, सी एग्जैक्टली व्हाट ईच ऑफ दीज मीन. और अगर इनमें से कोई आपको इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है, then explore that further and then go into sports management. As a recruiter, we obviously love people who have sports management degrees because we feel कि वो एक serious हैं इस बारे में. Now, as a recruiter, of course, that's great that you have somebody who has interest in sports, who have studied sports, who are showing commitment that they want to build a long-term career in sports. But it's not about a recruiter. It's about you, about your lives, about आपको क्या करना है, whether you are making the right decisions or not. And screw the recruiters. You have to be true to yourself. Don't get into the glitz and glamour of sports. Understand the job, understand exactly what it is, and then get into a sports management education degree. Your time is important, your money is important. Make wise choices before you get in. That's all I will say. Of course, you guys can always reach out to me in the comment section. You can ask me any questions, anything around sports and sports management education or different institutes, which ones are good or not. You can always reach out to him and happy to help in any way. Take care, guys. Good luck.